Grace and peace, friends and family. Welcome to another conversation, fearless one. My name is Joy, and I'm so glad that you're here with me for this conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about what happens when you decide to leave the narcissist and how the narcissist works so hard to keep you entrapped in that abuse cycle. Before we get into the conversation, though, I do want to take a moment to invite you to take a look at my website, which is pinkgirlteaches.com. The PGT Academy is going to be available for you. There was just a couple of glitches that we are still working out, but if you contact me, I will definitely send you the links and as well as additional information in an email so that you know what you're about to receive from this program. Also, the PGT YouTube membership community is available, and I have uploaded the first video in this for this community, and the video is self-discovery, or the importance of self-discovery after narcissistic abuse. I invite you to consider joining this community if you want to take your healing journey up to the next level. If you find that you are ready to walk away from being focused and driven on what the narcissist is doing and begin the process of healing yourself. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Also, if you did not have the opportunity to check out yesterday's live, which was on Sunday, the 12th of June, is your life producing fruit, or living a fruitful life, should I say, living a fruitful life after narcissistic abuse? So if you haven't had the opportunity to check that out, I invite you to do so. And also, I invite you to join me next Sunday live at 6:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. So let's talk about this. When you try to leave the narcissist, they will work to entrap you. You see, the thing about it is narcissists don't ever want to lose a source of supply. This is why they build a harem. In the harem, everybody plays a specific role. They fulfill a particular need that the narcissist has. And so in their mind, it really doesn't matter how badly they treat you. They don't want you to leave. In their mind, you are their property. And because they view you as property versus a person, you're not entitled to any autonomy. You're not entitled to any rights. You belong to them. Now, that's a fallacy because that's their dysfunctional thinking, but it is not your reality. But one of their goals, and one of the goals of the enemy, is to make you come into agreement with that line of thinking so that you would be stuck, so that you can be entrapped in this diabolical demonic system for a lifetime. It shows just how sinister they are, but it also, again, I want to highlight and I want to stress to you how it speaks to how they view you as a piece of property and not a human being. It's an indicator that they have love for absolutely no one. They don't love anybody. Everyone, if they are a narcissist, if they are somebody who is highly narcissistic, and I'm talking about the traits of NPD versus just being somebody who's so self-centered and self-driven, we're talking about NPD. We're talking about those who are highly narcissistic. They value nobody. This life is about them, or their life is about them, their needs, their goals, their desires. Everything about them trumps everybody else. They work hard. They are committed to their demonic agenda of dehumanizing their targets through spiritual and psychological warfare. And this causes the targets to become tired. Let's face it, if you're under constant spiritual attack, if you're under constant psychological warfare, it wears you down. And the thing about it is the targets don't even know. It takes a while to know what is happening to you. But over time, targets become tired, they become frustrated, and they become demoralized. And this is where narcissists begin to amp up their antics, because now they have the targets in the position that they desire to have them, where now they are running the faculties of the target's minds. They are thinking for the targets, telling you targets stuff like, well, you can't think for yourself, or, you make poor decisions, gaslighting, and continuing to break the target down. Understand that this is not by happenstance, and it is not random. It is very much strategic. And the targets are groomed subtly over time, right? They are groomed subtly throughout the course of the relationship to expect the bare minimum breadcrumbs, right? To expect the very bare minimum and be satisfied with that. They want you to believe that you're better off with a piece of them rather than the whole person, the totality of who they are. But you see, because they have so many different sources of supply, not every supply has to be an intimate one, right? But because they have multiple sources of supply, they have to offer a piece of themselves to everybody. That's why they're never enough for one person. They can only give you what they have after they've done distributing themselves to a plethora of other people. Like, no, this is not what you deserve. Verbal abuse, gaslighting, triangulation, projection, sleep deprivation, and a host of spiritual wickedness. They starve targets for attention, affection, and what this does, mind you, this is really strategic. I'm talking about, when you try to leave the narcissist, but I want you to understand how you are groomed to never want to leave the narcissist and why it is so difficult. So they starve you of the bare minimums of a relationship. You got to be careful about society and culture and these memes that they love to throw on the internet and tell you that, loyalty, commitment, asking you, have you eaten, are superior things to expect in a relationship. No, there's nothing superior about loyalty. If you're in a relationship and you have made a verbal agreement that we are in a relationship, and sometimes it's the covenant of marriage, then that is to be expected. We are to care for one another. We are responsible and accountable to one another. It is not top tier. That is the bottom line, the baseline. And yet here they are making you think that you're getting something fabulous. No, they starve you for attention and affection. And this makes you crave them. It makes you believe that you need them. And it's so twisted how the enemy works this thing out to keep you really stuck and entangled. And so even in the midst of when you are longing for them, you're longing for their affection, their attention, right? They begin to threaten to discard you. They may disappear for periods of times, right? And all of this keeps the target walking on eggshells, on your tiptoes, on your best behavior, trying to please somebody that doesn't even deserve a look from you. They disappear for periods of times, which also serves to confuse you and cause you to become hypervigilant. All of this is strategic. It is all to dehumanize, demoralize, and desensitize you to the abuse that they are doing. It's to cause a deficiency in you and make you believe that you need more of them when what you actually need is less of them, none of them at all. And so you find that the narcissists act like they don't know what they're doing to you. They don't know that it causes you pain. You tell them, you say how it makes you feel, and they discredit everything that you're saying and then have the nerve to blame shift. Like, hello, they're the ones doing this. And they know good and well why they're doing it, what they're doing it, and how it makes you feel. You don't have to try to justify your feelings. They know. They know. Listen, it's not their first rodeo. You are not their first victim. They've had practice. They've had a lot of time to perfect the craft of abusing people. They use silent treatment as another way to inflict emotional abuse as well as stonewall their targets, making you unseen and unheard in your own relationship. This is part of the enemy's plot to steal, kill, and destroy. And so when narcissists do discard, right, they do it in the cruelest and most brutal way possible. They want you to believe that it's over, and that is far from the truth. Discards are very much part of the abuse cycle, and they are not final until they are not final, fearless one, until you decide that it's over. Narcissists always leave the door open, but it's up to you to close the door, lock it, and throw away the key. Believing that things will get better over time is an illusion of the enemy. So when narcissists leave the door open, right, they create a space for them to come back and hover you. They create a space, oh, let's just be friends, It make you think that it really wasn't bad, gaslighting you to make you think that it was you, or they need time to grow up, or whatever. They need to find themselves, or punish you for what you did wrong in the relationship, and maybe in time you'll get yourself together so they can come back. All of this is a lie from the pits of hell. They want you to believe that things will get better in time. This is an illusion of the enemy. This is why they come back sometimes acting like they had a whole epiphany when they just were outdoing themselves on narcissic behavior. That's it. And so throughout the entanglement, what you'll see is they fluctuate between the positive and negative behaviors, positive and negative treatments of you. And this is what creates trauma bonds, and it solidifies them. And this is why they are so resistant to change, because you are used to being tossed between the love bombing and the devaluation. So when you're in a devaluation or a discard phase, you're waiting for that love bomb to come around. And then here it comes, even if it's nothing more than breadcrumbs, but you've been groomed to accept breadcrumbs. Listen, you got to understand that breadcrumbs are not enough to sustain you. Relationships do not thrive off of breadcrumbs. They need substance, and you've got to want the whole bakery and not just a piece of the pie. And there is nothing wrong with wanting the whole bakery. You are a whole person, so you deserve that. And so anytime you discern that a person is abusing you, it is your responsibility to exit stage left. It's not easy, but they will not change. And so the question becomes, how long do you want to be held hostage in such a fruitless entanglement? In the mind of the narcissist, there exists a hierarchy. They think that they are at the top of the pyramid, but that's really incorrect. It's the devil that is at the top, and the devil who governs their mental faculties. And so with this change of command that the narcissist creates, the head honcho makes all the decisions. So when you decide that you are going to discard them, when you decide that you are going to close the door, lock it, and throw away the key, thus removing any and all access to you, then you've caused a breach in the chain of command. You're breaking rank. And in the narcissist's mind, there is only one response: punish you. Well, actually, let me back that up a bit. How it's going to go is that they must regain control of you as if you're a territory. You are not. They want to regain control of you so that they can punish you. Narcissists set the schedule and the game plan on how to hover you and get you back. Again, to regain you and tear you to shreds for having the audacity to disrupt their flow of abuse. This is purely diabolical, y'all. They want to punish you for disrupting the flow of abuse. They want to punish you for trying to save yourself from their abuse. And so what happens now when you try to stay gone and you try to escape from the clutches of a narcissist? I want you to understand that this is one of the most dangerous times for victims of narcissistic abuse. The narcissist becomes very volatile. What you essentially have done is issue a narcissistic injury, and narcissistic rage follows. And sometimes, we think we know a person because of how they act within the relationships. But I want to tell you that I didn't see a gun in my face until I made the decision to leave. I never saw that, but it happened when I said, this is over, get out, be gone. Then I saw it. But one thing that they'll do is that they will blame you for the state and the condition of the relationship. your insubordination, your disobedience. But understand, this is nothing but gaslighting and them trying to keep you stuck. They don't want to let you go because in their mind, they are entitled to you and the benefits of you as a person. That's it. And so they begin the process of trying to brainwash you into believing that you're making a bad decision. They may even try to convince you that you won't make it out there on your own, even gaslighting you to make you feel that you are unlovable, and they were tolerating you by trying to love you. And part of their loving you means that they must raise you up because maybe they think or they try to tell you that your parents did an inadequate job and they're doing nothing but trying to make you a better person. More gaslighting, quoted with projection. They attempt to guilt trip you into staying, but understand that this is deception and it is only future faking. They will try to love bomb you, shower you with gifts, and if you allow them even intimacy, what they weren't giving you in the relationship or giving you lots of it, all the attention, affection, adoration, everything you ever asked them to do, they're showing up, which is an indicator to you that they knew what you needed all along. They heard you, but they just didn't care enough to give that when you needed it and when you wanted it and when you asked for it. But now that you want to move on, they think that if they throw this bone at you, you'll catch it and stay. You're not a dog. You don't belong to them. You deserve better. You deserve somebody who is flat-footed on the ground. Their mind made up that they want to be with you. You don't need anybody who is straddling the fence to be in your life. And so all of these gifts and all the ways that they attempt to shower you with attention can seem overwhelming. It can seem like, oh, they're finally doing what I always wanted them to do. But you have got to understand that this is nothing more than another step in the abuse cycle. If you give in, that love bombing period is going to be drastically short. The devaluation will come swift and heavy. They will have an iron fist. And the reason why they have to be even more intense in their devaluation stage of and how they treat and punish you is so that you know your place, so that you don't step out of rank again and you stay indoctrinated in their love trap. And that is what you don't deserve. In the Bible, in Isaiah chapter 3, verses 1, Isaiah chapter 43, verses 1 to 3, and I couldn't fit the whole passage on the screen, so I just pulled out parts of it. But read this, because one thing the narcissist wants you to do is fear your future by making you believe that alone you are inadequate and that you need them. But read Isaiah chapter 43, verses 1 to 3. Part of it says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be scorched, nor will the flame burn you. And this is a promise from God. And we've got to trust God even with this part of our healing journey. We've got to trust Him with our pain, the disappointment, the betrayal, and the hurt. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So even though you may feel lonely, please know that you are not alone. Fearless One, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It's my sincere hope that this edifies you and that it helps you continue to trust the decision that you have made to go no contact. If this is something that you're contemplating doing, then continue to stay no contact, because that is the right thing for you. So Fearless One, continue to come from behind and fearlessly pursue your most significant state. God bless you.